Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Antony Carpen here, walking down Blincoe Grove, and you can see the big rock pub behind me where I was yesterday. Now, I did a Google search. Actually, shouldn't really be mentioning brand names, but you may remember that book that I mentioned last night, and I thought, Eglantyne Jebb, that's an interesting name. Not come across that one before. You don't come across many Eglantynes in these parts these days. Turns out she was a founder of a big charity some of you may be familiar with called Save the Children. And it turns out that she founded Save the Children after the First World War, in part on the back of the book there about Cambridge not really making much of an impact. But then, why would Cambridge take any interest in a groundbreaking book that was decades ahead of its time, with lots of amazing, wonderful insights, written by a woman? And so, one of the things that I kind of want to do was, first of all, digitise the book, because it's now out of copyright, being over 100 years old, but also to share the lessons and the findings that she had, and to see to what extent what she found out, what she discovered, is similar to or different to what we're going through now. Because there are a whole host of similarities that I came across just reading the first few pages. And there's a wonderful chapter, or there are just wonderful chapters throughout the book, but wonderful ones all about employment, unemployment, and work for both boys and girls, looking at the transition from school to the world of work. Though obviously she was writing at a time when they were looking primarily at really the later primary school years, early secondary school years. The reason being is because a lot of the work that they were talking about at the time, in particular for girls, was making them servants. And one of the things that's very apparent from the book is how, almost kind of in a strange way, she's a product of her time in basically saying, oh, here are all the various church and Christian organisations doing charity work, but then at the same time giving a nod to the secular organisations also doing similar work. And then finally, and this for me is the groundbreaking bit, is saying, or coming to the conclusion, that there's only so much charity can do, and at some point in the future we're going to come together to build something where everyone can contribute for the common good. And writing in 1906, she basically predicted the foundation of what we now call the welfare state. And things that perhaps we take for granted now, she foresaw over 110 years ago. So I'm now here at my local library, Rock Road Library, 1935, to see if we can find out more, because they have their own wonderful local collection, and we're going to go and have a look at it now.